Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list was inspired by a question I got through, I don't know if it was through email or if it was just a comment in a video, but the question was, what are my thoughts on notes graded net? And I thought, well, that's an interesting topic. So I decided to put together my top 10 net graded notes. Unfortunately, I don't have 10. I've only got 6. So we're going to do the top 6 net graded notes that I have. Now, a net graded note is I don't even want to call it the equivalent of a details coin because I don't think it's the same. You have to remember with coins, there are thousands and thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of coins. So if you were to see a coin that gets a details grade, look 10 feet over at the show at the next table and there'll be another one that doesn't have the details grade. It's very easy to find one that doesn't have that grade. So a lot of people consider that details the death knell of a coin. They hate it when they get details or if they get cleaned or something like that. On a coin, I don't have to go through what causes that. It's damage of one type or another. That's the problem. With paper money, the designation is net, N-E-T. So are you going to find notes with damage? Of course, absolutely. It's paper. Of course there's going to be notes with damage. But does that destroy the value overall? And that is the interesting part. Okay, if a note is graded net, should that be your first choice for the note? No. But what if that is one of the more significant notes out there and it's graded net? Well, sometimes it's the only example. Are you going to pass up a one-of-a-kind top pop because it's a net note? Because there just aren't any? No, of course not. You have to keep in mind that there just aren't the quantity of notes as there are in coins. So when you see net, absolutely be aware of it. Should that mean the price should be lower for that particular grade? Absolutely. Does it mean the note is not collectible? No, not at all. So it's my opinion to not be afraid of a net note if that's all you can afford. All right, so let's take a look at the top 6 notes that I have that have been graded net. Number 6. This is a $500 1864 Confederate States of America note, and this is one of the first notes that I bought that was Confederate, not counterfeit, Confederate. And I bought it because it was graded. And because it was graded, that means that it's real. Now, when I bought this note, I didn't know how to tell the difference between fake notes and real notes as far as the Confederate States go. And this can be, as you can see from the price tag that's still on there to this day, that can be a lot of money. So you want to make sure that you're getting a note that's real. Now, at this particular show, I remember this show was in Vegas. I wasn't planning on going to a show in Vegas. I was in town for the World Series of Poker, but they just happened to have a show going on. So I looked around and I saw this note, and the guy gave me a little break on the price, but it does have the net designation. And the reason for it is right there, stained. And you can look and see that the note does have this big old stain here. Shows more so on the front. So yeah, the note had a stain. But to me, I didn't buy the note because it was stained. I bought the note because it was graded. And I knew because it had the net designation, it would be a little bit cheaper. So that's how I ended up with this particular note. So yeah, buying a net note probably saved me a couple dollars overall, but I bought it because it was graded. So I knew it was authentic. That one's number 6. Number 5. Here is my Louisiana New Orleans Dix note, right there. The note that gave the South the name Dixieland. And you can see on the back, this one has tears. You can see 55 net. And it was interesting because I brought this note to a show looking to see if I could find another one. And I talked to the people at PMG, and they said that this note is actually in an old holder. And if I was to resubmit it, it would probably come back without that net, because they do list the tears on the back. So I thought that was rather interesting that they were encouraging me to resubmit the note. And you can see right here, there's the tears. And what it looks like is, it looks like the note was stapled, and then somebody just ripped the note off. But the rest of the note, graded 55. So it's a high grade note, just with those little tears like that. Now, this is a significant note. Like I said, a note that gave the South its nickname. So when it comes to the thousands and tens of thousands of obsolete notes, this is probably one of the more prominent notes out there. And I definitely wanted to have this because of the story. So when I was looking for a note, I knew this was going to be in about the $500 price range, maybe a little more with a 55 grade. But they decided they were going to sell this note much cheaper because of those three letters. Now, you can go to a major show. In fact, I was at a major show when I bought this. And at that show, with all of those dealers, I think there was a total of 3 of these notes that were there. That's it. At a major show. So, as far as how tough is it to find notes? Well, sometimes you buy what you find. I'm sure that in the coin collecting world, if you're looking for a specific coin, you're basically just going to a show and trying to argue price. Whereas in paper money, you're trying to find the note. So yeah, this one, you can see he had it priced at $398, brought it down to $375. I think I ended up getting this for $350. I offered him $350, and he said, "How about $360?" And I said, "I'm not going to let $10 separate me from owning this note," so I gave him the $360 without a problem. But yeah, having one of the harder to find important notes, I'm not worried about a net grade. That's number 5. Number 4. Sometimes you can't figure out what the actual problem is. I look at this note. This is an 1862 $2 legal tender, graded 15 choice fine net. And if we look at the back, it says repaired. And when you look at this note, I don't know why it got a 15, to be honest, because this note is, it's nice. I mean, there is a fold here, but look at the picture. You can hardly see the fold. You can hardly see the crease here. You can see it here. So the crease doesn't even affect the print. And you can see it does have a line there. Maybe looking at the back shows a little more. Once again, there's the fine line there. You can see here there's a little bit. Looking at the bottom, is this the repair? I don't know. I can't even tell. Nope, looks like the repair might be up here. It looks like it was split. You can see a little bit of sunlight trying to come through there. That's it. I mean, if this was a tear and that was repaired and that's what gave it the net, this note is beautiful. Buy the note, not the holder, which is what I did on this one. But yeah, because of the repair on there, it did get the net grade. Look at the eye appeal on this note. This note has eye appeal. It would be very easy for me to resell this note because compared to any other 15 that's out there, this one looks so much better. Does it have the net? Sure. But once again, that is the distraction right there. I can live with that, and I'm sure anybody that wanted to purchase this could also live with that. So yeah, not a problem with this particular note either. That one is number 4. 654. Number 3. This is a 1886 $5 silver certificate. And this particular note scared me when I bought it. I did not buy it graded. I bought it taking a chance. Because looking at this note, I saw all kinds of problems. I saw that there's a small seal here that has almost completely disappeared. The picture of the note that I had in a book had a seal over here, so I was very confused about that. I've since figured out that they had the seal in 2 different places during the course of having this note. But this note, this is the Morgan back. So this note, in primo condition, can be $40,000 to $60,000. Yeah. So when I saw this one for sale for $700, I thought to myself, I don't think it's worth $60,000, but I don't know that I'd ever be able to find this note with that kind of price ever again. So I took a shot and I paid the $700 for this note. It was then, after I got the note, that I saw right here that there was a hole and it was patched. And if I flip that over, there's the patchwork. And they colored it with a green colored pencil to make it look good. And that's pretty impressive as far as I'm concerned, because you hold it like this, you don't even notice it. It blends right in. And you can see on the back it says piece added, seal faded. So that's the piece that's added. And the seal over here is most certainly faded. But they still graded it a 15. Having this note graded means that it's authentic, which is why I sent it in. Having it grade a 15 was much higher than I thought it was going to grade, but by virtue of the fact that it got graded, I was expecting an 8, maybe a 10. So for them to come back a 15, 2 full grades higher than what I was expecting, I was very excited about that. The net grade, how many people do you know that own a Morganback? I have no problem with having a net grade on my Morganback. So that one is number 3. Number 2. This was another scary note for me. I got a Lazy Deuce. This one is graded 8 net. And Lazy Deuce, this is from, this one is 18, it's going to say 1863 on there, I believe. It's from the first charter period. So the American National Bank of Providence, Rhode Island, put out this Lazy Deuce. They got a charter number, and this is before they listed the charter numbers on the note. You can see the charter numbers listed up here, but nowhere is it listed on the note itself. They started adding that, I want to say, in 1875. From 1862 to 1882, that's the first charter period. 1882 starts the second charter period. And here's the back of this note. So yeah, you can see that the note is well handled. A lot of stuff going on here. But if we look here, it says repaired, overprint, redrawn. So for overprint, this is an overprint. This is an overprint. Did they redraw that 7 maybe? I don't know. Let's look at the other overprint. Let's see what we got over here. Anything? I don't see anything specifically redrawn over here. So maybe, no, I don't, maybe the 7 and the 1, that's what's redrawn on there. That's what gave it a net. I mean, that's specific. Repaired, overprint, redrawn. Let's see if we can see any repairs. A little bit weak here, but I don't know that that's necessarily repaired or just thin. And holding it up to the light, you can kind of get a better idea. Maybe on the bottom, that tear right there looks like it was repaired. Anyway, it's a Lazy Deuce. How many people have a Lazy Deuce in their collection? This can easily be worth thousands. This note, even in this condition, is still worth thousands of dollars. But it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars depending on which bank and the condition that it's in. And it's a very difficult note to add to your collection. But I got one. I got it because of that net grade. So it doesn't matter that it's not the greatest Lazy Deuce ever produced. It's a Lazy Deuce. It's in my collection. And I'm sure if you had the opportunity for this to be in your collection, you'd jump on it. So that one is number 2. And finally, number 1 this week. This is a Delaware colonial note from 1759. How good do you expect this note to be from 1759? To find any note at all from 1759 is pretty impressive. And you can see it's graded 8 VG, and it's got the net. And if we look here, it says repaired and reattached pieces added. And if we look at the note has been split completely in half. And let's see if we can try to figure out, you can see that the middle section does look like there was a piece added right there, so that on the front, the words would all match up. So not in the greatest of condition at all. They were probably pretty generous with the 8 grade. The net, no, it deserves the net, but an 8, that was pretty nice of them. But why was this note important for me to have? Well, the important part of this note, let's see if I can find it here in the light. PRI I-N. Then this is all blurted out, and you can read A-N-K-L-I. This was printed by Benjamin Franklin. Yeah, he handled this note. He printed this note. Not like a $100 bill that he's on. Benjamin Franklin himself printed this note. Do I care that this note is a net? Absolutely not. Am I ecstatic that I have a note printed by Benjamin Franklin in my collection? You better believe it. So this is one of those cases where the net probably saved me a ton of money. Even then, when I bought this note, the value was probably around $400, and I can't imagine what it is now. But the person never said that it was printed by Benjamin Franklin in the listing. So unless you knew, you didn't know. So that one little portion that the seller omitted probably cost him a lot of money. But it allowed me to swoop in and get this because I knew what it was. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on net notes and my top 6 in my collection. I don't think there's a note here that anybody would not want in their collection, even though they're all net notes. This, in and of itself, is a pretty impressive collection, and yet these are the net notes, the ones that aren't supposed to be that good. Anyway, you be the judge. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.